Okay, happy Monday, yogis. Today we are going to do a wall yoga. So you would need for today's practice a little bit of wall space, something that you can spread your arms out on nice and long. And if you have the access to yoga blocks, those would be helpful as well. However, if you do not have yoga blocks, you could use a rolled up hand towel, or you could use, pillow. Pillow would work. Big cushion. So we're going to be starting today not against the wall, so you have some time to get yourself situated. We are going to start in our nice Tadasana stance, our mountain pose. If you have music you would like to put on at this time, feel free. Oh, and also don't let me forget, if you have been told by a physician to not work out or participate in an exercise program, I would refrain from today's workout. If you're ready to go, follow me. This is our wall yoga. We're starting off by grounding our feet directly underneath our hip bones. So not the wide, fleshy part of our hips. We want to find the bony part and place our heels directly underneath, keeping the knees soft, arches lifted, shoulders back and down. And I like to pretend that I'm holding heavy weights, or I have maybe a bucket of water in each hand. So sitting nice and tall, focusing on in-breath through the nose, and out-breath through the nose. Take 2 more deep breaths. Last breath here. Let hands come to heart center, our prayer position, or Anjali Mudra, as we call this in yoga. Inhale, flow the arms up overhead. Exhale, let the hands come back down to heart center. Inhale, lifting up. Exhale. One more time. Reach the arms up high as you can. Look up, stretch the front of the body, and lower back down. Bring the hands up to clasp. Point your index finger up to the sky and ground your feet to the floor. Lateral fold, reaching over sideways. Inhale, lengthening your spine. Exhale, fold over sideways again. Now when we do this, make sure you are keeping your body squared off to the wall in front of you, meaning you're not tipping your shoulder downward. You're almost looking upward. Inhale, rise. Exhale, small bend. Feel your rib cage. Pick up off of the hip socket. Inhale, lift. Exhale, press. And inhale, lift. Exhale, press. Now if you have your yoga blocks handy, you could feel free to place them on the floor by the sides of your feet here. If you don't have yoga blocks, you could be reaching for your shins or the floor, maybe your cushion. We're going to begin in chair pose. So sitting your hips back and down, hands at heart. Let your hands come down to floor, blocks, or the shin. And we're going to slowly roll up. So this is an undulation through the spine. Pick your tailbone up, low back, mid back, upper back, crown of the head. Sitting hips back and down like there's a low kindergarten chair behind you. You're not sure how far back it is, so sit your weight towards the heels. Pull the belly in, forward fold. Let the head drop. Belly into spine, roll up like a rag doll. One more time, sitting the hips back and down. Breathing as always, forward fold, down to floor, blocks or shin. Rolling up like a rag doll. Moving into our goddess pose squat, Kali Asana. Take your feet wide, heels in, toes out, and just drop down into a wide squat. We may also call this a sumo wrestler squat in yoga. We're trying to open up our inner thighs. And if you want to open up your shoulders a bit, take a little shoulder twist here. Drawing one shoulder down towards the floor, in between our heels. If you don't like that, you could stay here. Maybe you shift side to side. Maybe you come a little lower onto blocks or cushion. But just play around with this pose. If you're a beginner yogi, and when I said the Sanskrit name of this pose, Kali Asana, you're not really sure what that means. Asana means pose or seat of a pose. So you'll notice in the Sanskrit terms that I give you along with the English, they all end with asana, means pose. All right, let's roll up, belly in, and heel toe, walk your feet together. I'm going to shift to the wall. Now for some of my wall views, I will be facing towards this big wall, but for the rest of our warm-up, I'm gonna face this door. Don't worry, it's not gonna open on me right here. I'm nice and secure. You're gonna come to your wall, fingertips on the wall. We're gonna work balance. And I'm on a little creak of the floor right here, sorry. We're gonna lift up on the tippy toes, lift the chest, and roll back down to our heels. Lift up to tippies, and roll back down. If you wanted to make this a little more balance focused, you could take your hands away from the wall, or if you're feeling a little unstable, keep your fingertips grounded. We're going to continue to work through the shoulder and upper back. This is a little bit of thoracic mobility. Thoracic, your thoracic spine is your upper spine, just below your neck to about mid-back. So we're going to do some scapular push-ups here. Give me one more. Heel lift, up and down. And now place your hands directly in front of your shoulder and spread your palms wide. I just want you to protract and retract through the shoulder blade so you're not bending the elbow here. You're driving your chest just a couple inches forward, couple inches back. You're going to notice there's a little round in your back here and opening in your chest here. So if you're a person that has a hard time doing that yogi push-up, we call it a chaturanga. This is a great thing to do to help get you warmed up for that yogi push-up, the chaturanga. One more time, hold back, lower your hands 2 inches, come up to tippy toes. So putting those two moves together, we're on our tippy toes. Now we are going to bend at the elbows. We're going to skim the elbows into the side of our body. And it's like we're trying to push the wall away from us. It's like a wall tricep push-up. This is the same thing that you are doing in a chaturanga yogi push-up on the floor. Give me 2 more times here. Strengthening the triceps, back of the arm, and hold. Heels down, shake out. Okay, 2 sun salutations. We are going to start with our heels close to the wall, or your butt. Heels or butt close to the wall. Inhale, lift your arms up, soften the knees, and start to walk yourself forward. Now, if you notice you're like, oh, I'm a little too close to the wall, walk your feet out. You're going to walk yourself down into plank. Plank is the top of a tricep push-up. So your hands aren't wide like this. They're narrow, like what they just were on the door. Bring your knees down. Tricep push-up or yogi push-up, halfway down. Hips come down to the floor. Point your toes to the back. Lift your heart. Now, a lot of times in Cobra, people ask me, how far should I come up? Only as far as what your body will allow you to while keeping hips down. If you notice your hips rise up like this, oh, you might be straightening your arms too much. Go ahead, soften them a bit. Keep the neck long, shoulder blades together. Push back up into kneeling plank, full plank, downward dog. Walk your hands back to feet. Now you're going to notice, you're going to leave a little butt imprint on the wall here. Roll up slow like a rag doll. Lift the arms up And coming back down, you can walk your hands down your legs. Walk your hands to me. Now you could do this chaturanga on knees or toes. Remember, this is the yogi push-up. Push forward off your toes, lower down, hover, hips to the floor, cobra lift. Let's talk Sanskrit. Bhujangasana. Bhujanga is a snake or a cobra. Asana is pose. Bhujangasana, cobra pose. Coming back up into plank, knees or toes, downward facing dog. Walk yourself back and roll up like ragdoll. Lift the arms up, hands to heart, find your wall. I'm going to move away from my picture here. Walk your feet out away from the wall and separate your feet about 1.5 times your hip distance. You're going to sink down so your knees are at 90 degrees, and we're going to pray for it to be over. Now, I see a lot of times people do this. They round or they want to put their hands on their thighs. Put your back against the wall. Push the wall away with your shoulder blades. Pray for it to be over, and if you're not religious, get here. All right, open it out. Squeeze the shoulder blades into the wall. Feel your thighs engage. Make sure the knees have not collapsed or overly opened up. Your knees are directly over your ankles. Holding for 3, 2, and push off. We're going to use our wall for a little bit of feedback. We'll see if we can widen up our legs here in warrior 2 position. Now my heels are not against the wall. I would be a little bit off balance if that happened, but my glutes, my butt, is against the wall. I'm going to spread my arms out and my pinky fingers touch the wall, and I have a 90-degree bend in my front thigh. I'm making sure this knee isn't pulling away from the wall. I'm opening up my knee, keeping one leg straight, shoulder blades squeeze together, and I really feel this in my glutes, that's my butt muscle, as I try to push into the wall. Take one more breath in. Exhale out, straighten the forward leg, come down hand to shin, and reach one arm up. Now I have a picture here, so I'm not going to put my hand too hard against the wall, but if you don't have anything blocking you, try to take your top knuckles against the wall. 2 legs are straight but not locked. You could look straight ahead or down. Back is against the wall. Holding for 3, 2, and 1. Starting to come up. Change your leg position. Pivoting feet. Bend the forward knee. Arms reaching out. So we just cleaned all the carpet in our house over the weekend, and I feel like my carpet is more slippery than what it was. That's kind of gross, right? Maybe there's still some soap in here, but my legs are having a hard time staying put. Maybe you notice you're slipping a little bit too. Use your inner thighs. Take one more breath in. Breath out. Straighten forward leg, tip down, hand to shin. Now I don't have that poster blocking my way here, so I'm going to try to open up this top shoulder as much as I can. A lot of times I see students, they try to wing forward. You want to make sure that top shoulder is against the wall, or you could think of it as your 2 shoulders are stacked. Take one more breath in. And out. Bring your toes forward, heel toe in. Now, for this next series, is our last strength posture. 1 time to the right, 1 time to the left. I'm actually going to have my back to you for a moment. This is a variation of side angle pose. If you have a yoga block, rolled up towel, pillow or cushion, I do recommend getting it for this one. How you place the block Depends on how close or how far you would like to be away from the wall. So you could place your block really wide, medium, or narrow. I'm going to go medium for today's video purposes. And what I'm seeking to do is to get into that warrior two leg position with the block between my inner knee and the wall. So I'm actually using my inner thigh to push that block or pillow against the wall. My opposite leg is straight, my left leg here. I'm going to place one hand, or you can even do elbow, onto the knee. And this other hand is going to push against the wall. Now, depending on your shoulder structure, you may want to play with placement of your hand, but you're trying to almost revolve open. Variation of a side angle pose. If you like a traditional side angle pose, your arm could come up overhead, or you could press into the wall and look up. We're going to continue to breathe into this 3 reps. Inhale, exhale, or 3 respirations, I should say. If you're liking this, go ahead and stay put. If you're ready to follow me to the other side, pivot the feet, place your yoga block against wall, and you could come down to hand, elbow, or you could even have arm reaching overhead. I like the shoulder opening while I'm here. Might as well get into it. Revolve open, squeeze your glutes, breathing in and out. And when you're feeling ready to come out, slowly come up, walk your feet in, shake out. First part of today's balance. I will be giving you side view, and then I will be coming against the big wall again. So you might be tipping and turning a little bit, that's okay. We're starting with balance, pose of the dancer. Place one hand on the wall, shift your weight, pick up opposite heel. So you're like a flamingo or a stork right here. Open up the shoulder, reach, grab your ankle. You could grab inside or outside. I like to flex my foot, standing knee soft, slide your hand up the wall and tip in. My cue that I always give is make sure you're squeezing your butt and make sure you're focusing on one unmoving spot in front of you, which for most of you, that will be your wall. Hopefully your wall's not moving. That would mean I can make a bad joke. I won't. All right, come on up and change sides. I was gonna make a psychedelic reference to the 70s and 60s, but whatever. All right, bring hand down, stork the leg, grab inside or outside, knee is soft, slip and slide into the pose. Great way to practice this if you have some balance issues going on to where you don't feel like you can do this unsupported. Before we move on to our second balance, we're going to learn a downward dog off of the wall. Release the footing, walk your hands down the wall, and then walk your feet back, soften the knees, push your hips to the rear. Now, if this hurts your shoulder, try to practice walking your hands down. You could also practice walking hands a little wide if that feels good. You could alternately press your armpits towards the floor. Feel a little twist here, similar to the warm-up when we were in our goddess pose squat, our Kali Asana. And walk your feet up to the door, shake out. Again, if you have access to yoga blocks or something a little bit higher off the ground that you could reach towards for this next balance, it's going to be a little more fun of a posture to do if you have something to reach for. So I'm going to have my blocks, one to either side of me. This is our floating half moon pose. And I do have this poster to contend with. So if you see my shoulder come away from the wall for a moment, just trying not to knock my stuff off the wall, you're going to get your glutes and your fingertips against the wall. Starting with the right, turn your right toe into block and begin to come down. So one hand has the block under your shoulder, one hand is up the sky, and you're flexing one foot in the air. Now you're trying to make sure this top hip does not roll too far forward. You're trying to get your hip nice and open. You could look up, straight ahead, or down. If you feel dizzy, I recommend looking down. Try not to let your head flop. Keep your neck on nice and straight. And feel your obliques. That's your side of your abdominal muscle. Feel them hold you up. Feel your outer thigh, your glutes lift you up. Breathing in for 3. And after that third and final breath, lift up. Repeat posture, opposite direction. All right, I gotta contend with my door here. Coming on down. Whew. Shoulder blades against the wall. Top hip against the wall, standing knee soft. Hopefully, Tim does not open up that door right now. That would be so bad. But ask yourself, if you did have somebody bust in on you in this room right now, would you be able to react fast enough to make sure that you're safe? Brace your core, breathe for 3. I thought I heard him. No, I didn't. Tim, are you on the other side of that door? No, I'm good. Come on up. Ooh, I'm safe. All right. Shake it out. We are coming down to the ground. Now for a lot of these, I will be facing on sideways to this side door. I might have my butt to you for a little bit, but we're gonna come down, camel pose. A lot of times in camel pose, what I see is people do a little too much of an arc with their hips forward. So it's helpful to sometimes practice this with the wall, because what you're really doing is you're just working from your rib cage back. So with the wall, if I knelt right in front of the wall, my thighs are pretty close to the wall, my hips are pretty close, maybe not touching, but pretty close, and my chest is against the wall. I could flex my feet or point my toes, you choose for camel pose. Bring your hands into your skinny jean pocket, pin your elbows to the back, and now I just want you to take your chest and your upper rib cage away from the wall and look up the wall. So you're not looking behind you, you're looking up, maybe where the wall and the ceiling meet. That's your eye gaze. Continue to internally squeeze through the butt cheeks. Internally squeeze the inner thighs. Squeeze from the abdomen. Breathing in for 3. 2 more breaths. And rolling back, up to the wall, back away. Let's come on down. We're going to do a little bit of abs. I'm going to place my feet on the wall. And I'm just going to do a crunch. So your feet could be up a little high, you could be right at 90 degrees, and reach your fingertips towards the door. We're just gonna crunch and curl up and roll down. Look right between the knees. Think about lifting your upper back off the floor and breathing all the air out of your stomach. Hollowing the belly as you come up. You have 4 more. 3, 2, now hold this one, hold it, breathe all the air out of your stomach, push a little bit of pressure of your feet into the wall, and roll down. We're gonna walk our feet up the wall just a few inches, and boot scoot yourself, boot scoot and boogie up towards the wall, door, whatever secure thing you are using for today's practice. We're going to push our feet into the wall, and we're going to lift our hips up and roll down. Now, if you notice that if it hurts your neck, you might need to scoot away a little bit. If you didn't get up high enough, scoot a little closer. You are going to be taking your rib cage all the way up towards your face, and it's almost like your chest comes up to your chin when you're at the tail end of this. We're going to do 5 roll-ups, bridge. Squeezing up and rolling down. Feel your shoulder blades push into the ground, rolling down each vertebrae super slow. Let's try 3 more up. 2 more. I swear to God, that is my floor creaking right now. I apologize. 1 more time. Holding up to the top, squeeze, 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 rolling on down, coming into our hip opener. We're going to try a reclining pigeon with our feet on the wall. So one ankle crosses opposite thigh. You may notice, oh my gosh, your hips are really sore right here. If that is you, stay where you're at. If you notice your hips rise up, that means you need to walk back a little bit. However, if you're feeling pretty good, walk your hips closer towards the wall, lower your heel, and you can get a really deep stretch into the hips. You can even rock your foot back and forth on the wall here. I think we have done this stretch in all of my yoga videos, at least to some extent we've done a pigeon in all of my classes, because it's so beneficial for your hip, low back. This is just another way to get this posture done. And when you're ready, change sides. Now, each side of our body is different. We may have different flexibility. So if you get here and you're like, oh, my hips won't come down, you need to again walk back. If you're more flexible on this side, walk closer to the wall. And I like to flex my foot, meaning toes curl up, heels press down, active. You can rock side to side. I think you're really going to like these next 2 stretches that I have for you. First one we're going to work on is called Cobbler's Pose, Baddha Konasana. That is up the wall. We're going to do that one, and then we're going to do the literal legs up the wall, a little bit of a restorative yoga pose here. For viewing purposes, I think I have to use this wall. So when you're ready to come out of your pigeon, roll to your side, roll up, and we are going to practice being ninjas. When we do any legs up the wall pose, you have to get your butt, your literal butt cheek against the literal wall. You can't be 6 inches away from it, you can't be a foot away from it. You gotta put your butt on the wall. So do that. Put your butt on the wall. Then practice your best ninja roll, whoop, legs up. If your butt is not touching the wall, or if your butt is not in that crease between the wall and the floor, put your hands behind your head and boot scoot yourself up a little bit closer. You want the entire back of your leg to be in contact with the wall. For our Baddha Konasana, our bound angle pose, or cobbler's pose as we call it in English, soles of the feet together, knees open. Great way to practice your inner thigh flexibility if you have trouble doing this seated. You can also place your hands very lightly on the thighs and give gentle pressure. And when I say gentle pressure, if you can't do it with your fingertips, you're probably doing too much. So just a light fingertip, gentle press. Your hips, knees, and shoulders are the boss. If they ever tell you no or give you resistance, that's when you probably want to stop what you're doing, reset, take a breath, choose a gentler option if you need to. Gentler option would be not using hands. Some people like this one too. They like to bring their arms up overhead, reverse Roman handshake, hand to opposite form. This is also a great pose for digestion. If you're having a lot of anxiety, doing any sort of legs up the wall pose is great. It's great for calming down the nervous system. So this has been our cobbler's pose. Let's try literal legs up the wall. Extend your heels like you're going to push the ceiling away with your feet. Simultaneously, you're going to push the floor down with your hips. So it's like you're being played tug of war with. Your legs are like the rope. You're being pulled in two different directions. Arms can rest by your side, overhead, on the belly. If you don't like flexing your feet, just keep it gentle. Let's try to breathe really big through our belly. That'll help our nervous system to relax, to calm down. I'm going to take 2 more big breaths. I invite you to stay here in legs up the wall. I'm going to come out of it just to talk to you for a moment, but I would like you to stay in legs up the wall. If you're just still trying to decompress the body, I'll also show you how I come off of legs up the wall. So I would bend to my knees, put my feet on the wall, and I would just walk to the side, roll up. Hopefully you didn't kick nothing over. No, this headband's done. All right. If you're still in your legs up the wall and you're still enjoying it, I recommend staying there. You could stay in that pose for 5 minutes, 10 minutes. It's only going to do you more good the longer you stay there, as long as you're not feeling anything bad that you don't like. You can stay there. Okay. I hope you enjoyed today's wall yoga practice. And Wednesday, again, we'll have another class. I have a couple ideas, things that we're going to do, so I might put a little poll out there. I hope you've been enjoying the workouts that we're doing. And to all my students that regularly practice with me live in studio, you know, I am thinking about you, and I do miss you. So with that, namaste.